So here we are in the Web Access Pro website, and we're going to take the Web Access Pro Chrome extension and do an analysis of what the accessibility compliance is on the Web Access Pro website. So when you hit the toggle, a panel will appear to the left that lists all the issues that are going on with the site. And we can see that there are no errors with the Web Access Pro website with regards to accessibility, which is what you would expect. And there's also what's called a features panel. And if we go to the detailed view in the features panel, we do see what are the existing features in the website that do help people with disabilities navigate the site. And so you can see a lot of this has to do with what we call ARIA labels and ARIA landmarks. And ARIA labels and ARIA landmarks have to do with providing the appropriate labels to sections of the website and to links that tell the user exactly where they're going to go if they happen to click the link or if they go to a particular section. This helps someone who's navigating a website with a screen reader have an idea what sections are there so they can skip to the appropriate section that they really want information on. Just like, a sighted viewer might see the navigation at the top and then click on those buttons to go to that particular section that they want to do. They want more information on. So you can see the ARIA labels helps someone using a screen reader navigate the site in this way. And other features of Web Access Pro are that it does tell you a basic structure of the website. So, for example, we can look at what sections are the header, what's in the footer, what's in the navigation, what's considered the main information of the site, and how many sections the content is divided into. And then the contrast button will tell you if there are color contrast issues. And then finally, the Enable CSS button will either disable or enable the CSS. It also functions as a toggle. So sometimes you may want to look at what's going on in the site, just the structure of it, without looking at the styling. So you can do that with the Enable and Disable CSS. And here we're just doing a quick overview of the site itself without the panel open, so you could just look at the way the site is designed. And if there's more information you want to know about Web Access Pro, seeing it in action, I have placed the key videos right there. And in order to access support, you would go down to the Help button, and that will bring you over to our Help page, which is actually run by a different app called Tawk, T-A-W-K. And then you can also toggle the terms and the privacy policy to review our terms and privacy policy, which again, the privacy policy is one of the required elements of websites these days, where you tell the users what you're doing with the personal information. And even if you don't have an overt collection contact form where you're soliciting personal information, you still have to deal with things like if you were running Google Analytics on your site, that gathers personal information. So, and if you're connecting to social media from your site, then you need to let people know about how you're handling, gathering information regarding their social media use, and often present the privacy in terms of those social media platforms. And now we're just going to take another look at the different features, so we can take a closer look at the detailed view. And so in addition to the ARIA labels and ARIA landmarks, we are also, we're showing that we use good structure to our code, where we don't have empty headings. We have headings in the proper order. And we're declaring our language on our site, which is English. And we are also providing any alternative text to any images that are provided, and we are also using lists appropriately, and we are also allowing the user to control the viewport. That's what meta viewport is that if they're on mobile, if they want to zoom in or out to be able to see text at a bigger size, they can do so. You don't want to disable the viewport control. And so these are the different things that kind of go into what makes a site accessible. And if you're ever confused about any item, you can hit the I button, which is basically information, and that will take you to a reference where you can read all about it. So if you'd never heard of ARIA, I'm talking about ARIA, and you're like, what is ARIA? ARIA is part of the WAI, ARIA, so Web Access Initiative, and it's basically rules that govern web accessibility that are agreed upon. And honestly, I can't remember off the top of my head what the acronym for ARIA stands for, but ARIA labels are for links, and ARIA landmarks are for planning out sections, like naming sections. So the next thing that we are going to look at is the dashboard in Web Access Pro. So this is an added feature that kind of delayed our launch because we decided that we also wanted to add a dashboard that users can use to control things, like if they wanted to change their password, edit their profile, where you can view the different pricing options, you can change your plan. This would be kind of a central place where you can kind of see what you can control with the Chrome extension. In addition, we're also keeping a history of what you've been scanning. So, for example, you may have started a job, you started scanning something, and then you wanted to go back to it the following day. Well, rather than having to kind of remember what you were doing before, you basically will, go back to your dashboard, and you can see what you've been scanning and whether the scans have improved over time, whether you're seeing less errors, or if you've made changes on the sites that you've been scanning, whether there's been improvements. And here we're just looking at these links down here under the extensions. Basically, if you hit the Chrome, it's going to take you to Chrome. If you hit Edge, it's actually also going to take you to Chrome. One of the future supports that we would like to add to Web Access Pro is support in other browsers. So with this initial launch, we focused on Google Chrome, which has kind of a well-known library of extensions that people use. But ultimately, not everybody uses Google Chrome as their primary browser, and what we would like to do here at Web Access Pro is expand this extension to all browsers as a future addition. And if you're an early adopter, you're someone that participates in this launch, or someone who buys, we would add that to you with your lifetime license. So now we're going to go and look at actually our help page. Like I said, it's being run by a different company, Tawk, T-A-W-K. And the reason I went with Tawk is it was suggested to me as a kind of a solution to creating good help and support pages. So it's until I can create a similar functionality within my own website, I think Tawk is a nice addition that it makes it easier for you to submit a support ticket. So it's a place to post articles so people can get help on the product without necessarily having to contact us. And but we can see the drawback of using something that's outside of our system is that when I do an accessibility scan of the Tawk component of my website, there are a lot of deficiencies. And one of the deficiencies that we can see is that there's color contrast issues where this gray type over the white is too light to provide adequate contrast for someone of low vision. And I'd have to go into the dashboard of Talk to see if I can really adjust this, but I believe it's something that's predetermined, and I may or may not have control of it. But certainly I would go to the makers of this app, tawk.to, and let them know that they may want to adjust their website and what they're providing to other people to be accessible as well and be compliant. So if we go down into the tawk.to dashboard, I can go to my knowledge base section and see how much control I have over the elements of my support page. And I can only control so many things with regards to color, with regards to the design. So I may not be able to adjust this code because I'm not someone who controls this code. So the most that I could do is send a support ticket to tawk.to and say, hey, you may want to consider accessibility for this product of yours because, in many countries, it's a standard that we all should abide by to do our best for those with disabilities. But in other countries, like in the United States, it's actually a legal issue where you can be sued and fined over not having your website compliant. So, as soon as I can add that functionality on my own where I can control the code, then I would probably do that myself to fix this issue on my site because I've decided to use tawk.to. What they do is make the handling of support a little easier on me because if you're submitting a ticket, it goes to a central place so that I can manage those support tickets more easily, especially as a one-person operation for now. And I can always update and keep the knowledge base up to date with additional articles as questions come in, and I realize that there are certain areas that need more clarification than others. So that's why I decided to use it. I think it's unfortunate that it's not compliant with regards to accessibility, but certainly I'm going to bring that attention to the company to let them know so that maybe there can be some changes that occur. So this is a kind of a quick look at Web Access Pro and what it does and demonstrate to you how it analyzes sites and so you can make a decision whether it's something that is for you and your team. And, we've updated the look a little bit from the initial versions that you may still see videos of the interface when it was still in development. So some of the things have changed a little bit. We've tried to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing and a little bit clearer so that you know when something's being flagged as critical, serious, or is being flagged as a feature, something positive that you've been doing with your website. Presented by Designers Learn Code.